We got up into the Sibi and we held resistance pretty well. We traded above a little bit, but we started rejecting below it cleanly, and we never got to the quadrants of the premium wick that I had outlined for my weekly weekly forecast. I wanted to see this area hold, last line of defense of resistance for keeping high time frame bearish bias. So as long as we stay under these and continue to trend lower, I think this is a good draw for the week. Now, as for today specifically, this is what we have working with so far. Gonna drop down to the 15. I marked out London high, nearest form of relevant session buy side, pre-market no, pre-market low, same thing. Gonna mark this out right here. This is the previous day low. Depending on how we move at the pre-market low, if we have speed and aggression, we can look to take the PDL. But if not, then we'll just wait till the market provides us with more intel. It would be important to see how price reacts to this 5-minute gap right here, this 5-minute Sibi. Particularly as the midpoint of this gap seems to line up with the midnight open. Tomorrow we have FOMC minutes, which aren't as impactful as the actual conference. So in light of that, I don't think there's going to be any serious manipulation. Today's just a normal Tuesday. My thinking right now is this bit of bullish volatility is going to climb into NQ enough to allow me to position myself with the downtrend and ride it lower towards the previous day low. That's how I framed this session so far. I'd like to see this move right here be the Judas swing, the false breakout, and eventually start to see some bearish order flow, possibly from a liquidity sweep. So this open right here, this volatility, wicked through the 5-minute gap. Body couldn't even close inside it after this liquidity sweep. That is a proper reversal signature after seeing this type of action. Next two candles, only wicks closed within the lower quadrant of this gap. Wasn't able to reach the midnight open again. This is all screaming bearishness. Important because this 15-minute gap sits at around OTE of this bullish leg. If I were to pull out a Fibonacci and look at it, this would probably be around the OTE level. So this is an important gap to mark out in case, price retraces to here and then find support. But I find that highly unlikely. But we'll mark it out just in case to be wary. We have this 15-minute gap, which is a very possible area for reversal, given that we have this bearish move in the opening range and it hasn't even reached the 950 macro yet. It's very possible that we reverse all of this and really just aim for the pre-market high and the London high. Yep, going with 2 micros here. This high is game. Midnight open is definitely game. I think I'm gonna aim for the midnight open, but be wary of how price reacts to these highs. All right, we're stopped out. I wanted to see NASDAQ be decisive at this point after, briefly reaching above the first presented. I wanted to see, NQ ready to use that as an inversion, holding support and propelling price higher. Now that I look at it in retrospect, I think I was too eager to take the trade. Probably, if I wanted to be even safer, should have waited for displacement through this gap because there was no displacement. So, longs are not invalidated until candles can close below this. And if that scenario was to happen, if there's also displacement with it, then I'd be convinced we're heading for these lows. Just a one-sided bearish day. Alright, so this session is bearish. I should have looked to get bearish after this liquidity sweep right here. I wanted this to be inverted bad just to see reversal, but clearly that's not the case. We have this 15 minutes inverted now. We have a fair value gap about to open up. We have an order block. That's a good place to protect my stop at. So now I'm flipping my bias, looking to align with the trend because it's obvious that, well, it's obvious now that price is bearish. And I think it was obvious before, but I was just probably married to my narrative. Look to see if this gap can open up. If it is, I'm going to enter off that. Then if I grade this wick right here, this long 5-minute wick, it should also act as resistance. And the fact that the midpoint of that wick lines up with the top of this 15-minute gap would make it a good reasonable stop for me. This is if my entry gets hit. But price is moving now. Price is moving. Well, I was thinking of a possible run here to take some form of buy side. It already did that as soon as the market opened. So it didn't need to do that again. My liquidity sweep was right here. Not to mention respecting this 5-minute bearish fair value gap. So that right there should have alerted me to be ready to engage in a short. And the perfect short would have been this first presented. But instead, I wanted it to be inverted to try and force that liquidity sweep again. Or, a retracement to the midnight open. And I was just plain wrong about that. So that's where I messed up. But it's okay, I'm on side now. If I get tagged, I get tagged. If I don't, I'm not going to chase this. Okay, I've been waiting for this fill. I need to use the bathroom, but I couldn't leave without setting my stop first. Stop should be protected right there. Aiming for this 15-minute low. Alright. Pretty good reaction so far. Bodies didn't close above this SIBI. And definitely did not reach this midpoint of this 15 gap. This is a great initial reaction. So I'm gonna shave my risk a little more. Now that I think about it, I don't want price inverting this 15-minute gap at all. I want it to continue this steady downhill momentum. It was the 10 a.m. open. Have a little bit of manipulation above for what we want to be a down close hourly candle. Power of 3. Yep. That bit of drawdown was the manipulation for what I want to see as a 1 hour down close candle. You know, a continuation of this 1 hour down close. Just bearish order flow, both high time frame and low time frame. So I did bring my stop closer, but it's still above this 5-minute wick and above the 5-minute gap and the inverse, so it's still pretty protected. That's about as low as I'll bring my trail stop right now until, you know, price creates more bearish structure. If it does, beautiful bearish displacement. That's what I like to see. We have this fair value gap that was opened. At this point, you know, we've made a good run lower. My risk appetite has decreased significantly. I want to go risk free on this trade, just because I know mentally it would be taxing to see price go on such a run and then reverse and then end up taking a loss. So that's why we're going break even for the sake of peace of mind. And now as this price action develops, we can look to continuously book more profits and pay ourselves for our time. But the nature of this displacing right here makes me think that we're gonna get this 1 hour low. Yesterday when I was trading Asia, I settled for the easier low-hanging fruit. When external sell side was right above a 15-minute low, I took the external sell side when I could have held for the 15-minute low because it was Asia and price action was slower. But right now we're seeing cohesive bearish order flow developing, so I'm confident in holding for the 1 hour low instead of the 15-minute, especially with these two fair value gaps. In an ideal scenario, we can see retracement to this one, but this one treated as a breakaway gap. In an ideal scenario, don't do this. Yo, don't do this. And kill. And kill. And kill. And kill. You playing with me? Am I gonna have to manually close? That's the business. Just Smackington. Yes. See that? That's the business. Good trade. So the thing is, I was incorrect about the delivery for the session. How price was gonna go about the bearishness that I had anticipated. I was bearish coming into the session, but I think I wanted a momentary buy side run, you know, to tag some liquidity. Like I said before, I was just incorrect. This was the liquidity sweep. You don't need a second one. This one happened right here. This is exactly the reason for the 9:30 open being so volatile. It opened up. As it opened up, it was pretty volatile. It was going up and down, spiking. But this liquidity sweep right here is strong. Long wick. Respected this. Bodies didn't even reach this 5-minute gap. That's pure bearishness. We also never reached the 8:30 open. Traded slightly a bit above the. We traded slightly above the midnight open. That's extreme bearish behavior. So now we get displacement and create our first presented fair value gap. This right here was the optimal entry of the session. If I flipped my bias earlier and was able to take this as a short, this would have been a way better trade. But I was wrong and I wanted that bullishness, and I see that now. And I think I should have recognized that after it failed to deliver, you know, any meaningful bullishness, up close candles above this first presented. So once my trade headed in drawdown this way right here, created this little civvy. Can't see it by the trade arrow. Yeah, created this little civvy. this right here or the first presented fair value gap again would have been a great place to reverse my position and enter short. I put too much emphasis on this 15-minute fair value gap holding support. I put way too much emphasis on it because of this entry right here. But the higher time frame bias was still in my favor because I was still seeking bearish prices overall, seeing as yesterday we were falling from a 15-minute SIBI. A 1 hour SIBI. So that's what I should have done. I see that now. But then eventually, as I figured out I was incorrect and then I flipped my bias, managed to get in a great entry right here. This fair value gap opened with the 15-minute. Now that we've inversed that same 15-minute, I knew it would hold great support. Confident that this this 1 hour low was a definite target for the manner of this price run. And I took this at 9:59. Incredibly early in the AM session. The silver bullet window was just starting, so I knew we had a lot of time to travel towards this sell side right here, and that gave me the confidence to go in with 2 micros. Once I pass this set, this will be my 4th time ever being funded, which is kind of a big deal, but in the grand scheme of things, not really a big deal anymore, because I don't hold evals on such a high pedestal anymore. I've proven to myself that I can get funded 3 times now, and the fact that I've let 3 funded accounts slip from my grasp, as much as that pissed me off, and I felt like a donkey for letting that happen, not blaming anybody but myself, like I am fully responsible for what happened. As much as that pissed me off, there was still the slight bit of confirmation that, okay, you've done it 3 times. Nobody can take away from me the fact that I can get funded, which is honestly a beautiful thing. That bit of confidence is incredibly helpful. Any sort of validation for this trading journey it just gets incremental in, building my self-esteem as a patient, profitable trader, having a set profit target for the day and then closing after regardless of what happens. Because I've went on huge price runs before. I've hit great home run trades and then gave it all back, just being confident that I was up so much, having hit a previous trade, and then having that arrogance and that overconfidence lead me to taking so many losses that just eat away at that profit till eventually you're basically back at break even, if not in drawdown. So I'm gonna go in with these 3 fundeds, $400 a day. That's it. All I'm looking for is 400. So if I'm in a trade and I'm up 400, my stops are gonna be trailed aggressively. I may leave a runner, 1 partial, to see if price runs could go higher, but once I've made 400, I've made 400, because I need to do that for 5 days straight. The maximum payout on the 25K account is $1,000, and I have 3 accounts. So in the best case scenario, I'd like to make $3,000, but also you can only withdraw 50% of your profit, so I have to make 2K. 2 bands, that's not bad at all. And while previously it might have seemed like a big thing to me, I feel like I'm in a much better control of 1, myself, and 2, my grasp on the market is better. Like, I understand the scale of price runs and momentum and how far price can go within any given dealing range, which gives me confidence to secure these $400 moves, which is not even a lot of points if I use 2 to 3 micros. But I'm going to keep my sizing the same. 1 micro on lower probability trading sessions, no news Mondays, Friday PMs, counter trend trades, and 2 to 3 micros for my absolute A+ setups that are aligned with either my high time frame bias and narrative or the lower time frame trend. And that's going back to this trade. I was able to go in with 2 micros. Honestly, could have even went 3 because this was aligned with both the lower time frame trend and my high time frame bias of seeking overall bearish prices. Yeah, that's the business for today. Price can keep dropping. I do not care. Nasdaq just got used and abused, and now, sorry, I don't care about you. I'm gonna have to ghost you. If I feel like, having fun again, I'll probably hit you up tomorrow for the AM session. So today's AM session, I'll be looking to see how this 1 hour candle closes when we get to the silver bullet hour. But aside from that, nothing too crazy. I'm just expecting continued bearishness, and therefore I am looking to prioritize any shorts. Right on cue, 9:30 opened and tagged that pre-market high. I'm gonna see if price can reach this 5-minute civvy or it won't. So it's a good thing I didn't take a short right here. I didn't try and turtle soup this entry right here, because like I was thinking, I would have been jumping the gun. We haven't gotten any meaningful displacement to the downside, which is why I didn't take a short, even though I'm convinced in the high time frames that we are trying to go bearish. But so far we made this 5-minute BISI and now we've traded higher. So before I try and look for any shorts again, I need to see this London high get tagged to act as, I need to see this London high tagged, as a form of liquidity to power the move lower. But now seeing the nature of this one-sided delivery right here, it's a strong bullish momentum. So I'm not gonna marry my bearish narrative. If price wants to trade to and through this London high with speed and continue trending even higher, but I am still primarily favoring bearishness. This right here, accumulation. It's looking like low probability trading conditions at the moment. That could be because there's FOMC minutes later, although FOMC minutes aren't as impactful as the actual conference. Still, red folder news set to start the 2 p.m. silver bullet, so that could be a clue as to why we're chopping like this. We've found support at the first presented a numerous amount of times, so in a normal higher probability session, This London high should have been tagged by now, and we should have seen some form of reaction. Price should have been moving on, but we're trapped in some time distortion right now. So as I'm aware that these are lower probability trading conditions right now, no displacement, no meaningful movement in one side or the other, I am extra precautious, looking to play even more defense, sort of disengaged to taking a trade until I see displacement. So just reiterating, sitting patiently on my hands, more than comfortable doing that. You know what I'm saying? You can't rob the bank every single session. I'm doing a great job right now of being patient and prioritizing displacement over anything really. No displacement, no trade. Me, 3 months ago, would have gotten killed right here. I would have seen that price is close to this London high, would have hastily tried to align myself with that, entered off this first presented. I know I would have first immediate open gap, taken it, boom, would have been stopped out. After the stop out, would have probably switched my bias, tried to seen price invert this first very fair value. Oh my days, boy. Seen price invert this first presented fair value gap and try and short from there. $30 seconds away from 10:30. Just nasty price action. Very satisfied with my patience. Very satisfied that I didn't take a trade. This is a great uh this is a great step in the right direction. Growth, all of that. Happy with myself. More than happy to call it a day right now. We'll be back for the PM. We'll be back. I just got done working out outside. Just got back, opening my charts. Currently 1:38. We're in the PM session. And would you look at that? My move happened. When did it start? It started around 10:30, 10:50-ish. Oh, 10:50 macro. Yup. 10:50 macro spurred basically my bearish move, but it never got to the London low, which is interesting. I just opened the chart, so this is what I see. We did end up tagging that London high on the 5-minute. See what this looks like on the 1-minute. So all these candles are very small, meaning there's very little volatility in this session. This might be just another low probability trading session to wrap up essentially what was a low probability day overall. Yep. Terrible price delivery. I'm out of this. All right, another day, another session, another chance to look for some opportunities, see what NASDAQ wants to give us. Overnight trading session was pretty much just a little bit of expansion higher, slow, not anything crazy. We've managed to inverse this 1 hour fair value gap, which off the rip makes me think price might be bullish this session, just because I wanted to see this, respect price and keep sending it lower for my bearish narrative. But inversing this and trading above this high is a sign of bullishness, so I will be wary of that moving on further into the session. It's 9:24 right now, pre-market. I've done most of my pre-market analysis. Thinking out loud, just seeing that we've been in bullish momentum lately. The smart thing would be to position myself with the trend and find longs. So that's what I'm starting to favor, finding a long setup if possible. That way I would be aligned with the trend. We're getting a lot of bullish displacement here. Pre-market high is sure to get tagged soon. Trying to see where can I expect price to go higher. I can really just expect it to get back to this 1 hour fair value gap. But if we start to see some wick exhaustion, start to overlap and invert this gap right here, start trending lower, this could be point of reversal. Yep, this breakaway gap gives me a lot of confidence to engage in this short. Like I said before, my eyes were on this reversal, seeing it, we're at a high time frame area where reversal would be high probability. The breakaway gap, this displacement, showing me signs of bullish order flow. Not to mention the fact that we've touched this consequent encroachment once. This wick didn't even touch it. This wick touched it. And after that, we saw drops. So at this point, I'm ready to short if price comes back up to here. However, if this keeps displacing, this fair value gap's gonna open up. All right, boom. We open this up. I'd have to put my stop here at this breakaway gap. That's around 50 points. It's $100 with 2 micros. That's 200. I'm risking 200. Yeah, that's fine now at this point.
Order modified.
Boom. She's moving though. She might be moving without me. This is not coming back to my entry at all. She ran without me, even though this is exactly what I was waiting for. That's just unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So now this is also a breakaway. I'm gonna remove these annotations because I'm not expecting price to even reach back into this. Huge displacement, exactly what I pictured. Damn, you had to happen without me though. That's tough. That's tough, but it happens though. I want to see how price reacts to this first presented. If this opens up another gap, that's a possible entry, but I'm not going in. I'm going in with 1 micro just because my stop will be somewhere around this order block. Alright, we've convincingly traded below this first presented. I'm looking for this 15-minute to be violated again. Because like I said, the true move is lower.
Order modified.
Should have probably taken this entry too. God damn, bro. I'm doing bad right now. I don't know why I'm too hesitant. This is the exact type of delivery you would want to see. You know, low resistance liquidity run. Just boom, smacking targets and dropping. There's no reason I should be hesitating like this. But it's okay. I'm not gonna chase. I'm not gonna take a market order right here. We're gonna still stay poised, stay calm. If I end up not having been able to capitalize on this, that's okay. This breaker was a
Order
potential
filled.
entry. Okay, I'm filled in now. For now, I'll drag my profit here. This 100. Okay, that's good. I think at this point, we don't want to see price invert the first presented fair value gap. Just to maintain steady, smooth, one-sided price delivery. So that's why I'm putting my stop there. Also, it's above this order block as well, which should add some resistance.
Order filled.
Bombo clot.
Order filled.
All right, we taking out. Tough, tough, tough. So I know this trend is still bullish overall. We're coming from having inverted this 1 hour fair value gap. This 15-minute wick right here looks like a liquidity grab, especially since the body closed so far away from this gap. This right here really looks like a liquidity grab. It's looking bullish. On the higher time frame, it's looking very bullish. Yep, like price wants to continue trading higher. I think I'm gonna have to divorce my bearish narrative. It's making it pretty obvious to me at this point in time. That being the case, this makes a convincing gap, a convincing BISI. I might look to enter. Same thing, 1 micro. I'm not gonna size up. I think the safest bet would be an entry at the first presented if we reach it again. So I'm gonna set my limit here. That way I can have a very good stop loss here, that if it gets hit, I'm not losing a lot of money. Mitigating my risk. I'm pretty much divorcing my bearish
Order filled.
narrative, at least for this session, just off of the reaction to this 15-minute gap, which I wanted to see disrespected, but it is what it is. Move my stop right here, right below this gap. And if we do continue higher, we're looking to reverse all of this. And just tag a low up there.
OCO orders placed.
But now we have these 5-minute candles, up close candles, bullish, starting to look like they're in our favor. Just seeing this liquidity grab here gives me confidence. This bullishness that we're seeking to reverse this run from earlier. "15-minute candle doing the same thing." Oh, this is crazy. So if I just look to see where the CE of this, what is the CE of this candle? This 15-minute candle right here that tagged this 15-minute gap, this is the consequent encroachment of it. This is the midpoint. This current 15-minute candle that we're in, it wicked lower into the first presented, but did not even reach this consequent encroachment. That is a key sign of bullish order flow. Strength in the market. Wants to go higher. So this is important. The higher time frame is offering a lot more clarity on where price wants to go, and it's sponsoring. It's also just in line with this trend. This has been bullish. I did want to see bearishness from this 1 hour high, and I think I would. I mean, this displacement away from it that happened in the beginning of the AM session could have just been the retracement to position smart money to enter off of this 15-minute fair value gap. That could very likely be the scenario here. Let me just zoom out a little more to the 1 hour. Damn. If the 1 hour candle closes like this, with a wick like this, boom. The candle wicked into this 1 hour inverse. That's interesting. Alright, let me remove Asia low. I don't think we're heading for this at all. Same thing with the 5-minute. It coincides with the C of this 1 hour gap.
Order
I
modified.
don't want price to come back to these lows. Given this just slow, high resistance movement, we can definitely be stopped out at break even. But like I said before, I'm just following my system. This wick, nasty. 11 o'clock candle's about to open in a minute, in less than a minute. So we'll see what that does. But this macro right here brought some nastiness. Retracement, back to the first presented, and now we're getting a bounce higher. I want to see how price reacts to this gap. If I did have 2 micros or more on this trade, this would be an area to take partials at. Just because this price movement has been so slow, I would have definitely looked to book even a little bit of profit just to be safe in trading conditions like this, where it's not the smoothest, not the fastest, not the most decisive. But I'm only in this with 1 micro. I'm in with the lowest size possible, which is a good thing. I didn't, increase my leverage after taking a L, hoping to make it back, which is a problem that I used to have in my trading. But, it feels like it's clicking right now, regardless of this specific trade, whether it's a loss or a W. It just feels like it's clicking, the patience, the trade management, the risk. I'm being very definitive with my risk, with my sizing. 2 to 3 micros only on my A+ setups. I don't think I've taken a trade with 3 micros yet. I've built these evals up off of purely trading 1 micro and the occasional 2 micro trade, which is beautiful. A testament to patient, steady trading, which is good. This is what we want. Now, if I can just sustain this, make it consistent, keep it going, the money is guaranteed to follow. The money is always going to come running after. It's just a byproduct of sustainable, patient trading. And that's what I've been practicing for these past 2 weeks. That's what, OGR looks like. This is how you start a generational run. Starts off slow, and then the momentum just ramps up. Bro, NASDAQ is doing the most, man. I'm just trying to go get my workout. I'm just trying to go outside, get off my desk. But the money's calling me. What can I say? What can I say, NASDAQ? You pull me back every time. The things I do for AUNQ, you got me out here sitting talking to myself like a
Order modified.
madman for 2 hours. NQ, come on, just do it, please. Just do it. Alright, it's 12 o'clock now. I need to go touch some grass. I need to go see some sunlight. I need to do something. Alright, this is pretty good. I think I'm just gonna try my stop a little bit tighter. Right here. 260, that's
Order modified.
perfect. And I'm actually just gonna leave the chart now. Whatever this trade does, I'm fine with the outcome. This was a great trade overall. Uh, this was honestly a great trade overall. I did a great job of flipping my bias once the market made it exceedingly clear to me that it wanted to actually go higher. So this is a pretty great trade overall. I'm gonna let this trade do its thing, and I'm out of here. This is really what Operation Generational Run looks like. You know, trading felt like this and looked like this when I got funded for the first time ever last summer, last July. Got funded for the first time. It was looking like this, and honestly, right now I'm trading even better than I was then. Because that first time getting funded, I did happen to go on a crazy win streak. I won like 12 trades in a row. And, you know, in the very depths, the very back of my mind, in that run, I had the slight worry that what if I was just being very lucky at the moment? You know, what if the markets just really responded to my style of trading for the moment and this was luck and not skill? And well, I got my answer. It was a little bit of luck involved for sure because I just wasn't taking losses. I'm about to get funded again right now, and the reason I'm more confident in, you know, having my profitability be consistent this time around and sustainable long term is that I have been taking losses recently. I'm not on no 12 win streak. Although I am taking more wins consistently, I'm also taking a good number of losses. And the reason I'm confident in my profitability this time right now is just the difference in my management and my patience. My losses are very tiny. They're never out of control. I'm mitigating my risk so well that allows me to take these losses and still have, you know, upwards momentum on my trading so far. So these evals just honestly picture perfect trading. If I went in with 2 micros here, I could have just passed these evals today. But like I said, I'm taking my time. Is the reason I even sized down from trading 50Ks in the first place. I was only exclusively trading 50Ks in the past, and I got funded 3 times on a 50K account. So then the reason I'm trading these 25Ks is I forced myself to size down. That way I'd have to focus on, you know, the trading itself, the skill, rather than the prospect of making money. And we out of here, bro. Do what you do, NQ. I don't even care about you no more. You used and abused for the day. Again. Not meant to be. Not just no Jojo. No. And so good. Ladies and gentlemen, chat. We're back. So coming into this chart right here, I see bullishness. I see a continuation. Uptrend is still going strong. Bullish momentum through and through. All sessions. We got our big retracement in the silver bullet. Found a good retracement. Entered off the 1 hour. Found a high time frame PDA to sponsor bullishness moving forward. And coming into this PM, I'm thinking that's likely to continue. You can't expect for a crazy reversal to happen, let alone in the PM session, especially when we've seen all of this NASDAQ continuously screaming at us that she's bullish. You know see what I'm saying? All right, so the price action, price delivery this session is just not something you want to participate in. Not tradable, low probability trading conditions. We've made these equal highs here, and now we're just ranging in this consolidation, in this chop. This gap is gonna open. Gap just opened. See how price reacts here. If it overlaps it, this is just ugly. We're ping-ponging. It's showing some sensitivity though.
Order filled.
Alright, I'm tagged in. What is this? Oh, this is only 50. It's nothing. 30. This is a pretty generous stop, and it's 33. What's this? 109.
OCO orders placed.
Now we're starting to displace lower. Clean reaction to this fair value gap. Just move my stop right here. Now it's above the body of the order block. Running $30 of risk on this trade. Pretty nice. I have my stop very tight because, you know, we're so late into the PM session. It's now power hour. I have no risk appetite to lose, you know, a big amount so late into the PM session because it's just not worth it. It's not a highly probable session. I managed to get in a trade before, you know, 3 PM opened, which is why I'm remaining in my position right now. So my thinking now is these are possible reversal condition signatures showing. If we don't see speed below this low, these lows right here, could mean the bearishness is done. That's if we don't see speed. If we do, we're good. Still looking to aim for this low and this low. And then just because it's the PM session, I wouldn't want to aim for any lower lows unless, you know, we see some big fat juicy candles printing lower. Get off in a reasonable area, which is the session liquidity, lunch low. But if we reverse from here, showing that this is a liquidity sweep right now, we're not getting any body closes below the sweep. If we do reverse, only in the case that I see displacement above this high, would I potentially look for a long. We've inversed my entry. And just like that, we're tagged out. See, where was my stop? Right here. All right. Trail stop. Okay, this is gonna be my last trade of the day. I'm gonna put a limit here for 2 micros, because this is the move that I already planned for. It's just happening so late now. All right, we're tagged in. Let's see the reaction. Put my stop at this CE, the 5-minute. That's a lot of breathing room. Stop. Let me just put it like right here-ish. Just so that I'm under the consequent encroachment of this last wick. I want to use this wick's mean threshold as our last line of defense. Alright, now NQ is just being sadistic. I know you want to stop me out, but now you're playing with me like this. We did wick into the... You see what I'm saying, man? How did it not tag me out? I mean, my stop is right here. It's right around the consequent encroachment of this 5-minute. You see what the market like to do? It like to give you false hope. Make you think, oh yeah, I still got a chance. Keep you emotional. You know, show a little bit of sensitivity, then come back and tag that John with the quickness. But I am no fool. I know what you are trying to do. Don't let me find out this is the bounce we needed. Hold on, Nasdaq, hold on. NQ, stop playing. Hold on, NQ, what's this displacement? Stop playing. Stop playing, Nasdaq. What the hell just happened? What? Is this news or something? That's crazy. That's cool though. How much did I lose on that? What was my stop loss at again? 27. Yeah, we don't care about that. That is hilarious, bro. Very, very interesting session. So the entire silver bullet window, lethargic drop here. As soon as I saw a little bit of displacement, I thought we were gonna continue that, reach for some lows or something. But the actual move that I intended for to happen actually happened while I was in a trade. Good thing I aggressively had trailed my stop because I knew that was a possibility. So I only lost $25 on that trade, even though I scaled in. I had 2 micros on that trade. That loss was managed perfectly. That trade right there, I like it. Even though it was an L, I took a L. I was wrong about what happened. That trade was a perfect example of how to mitigate risk and make my losses as small as possible. Anticipating there would be some, support, there would be seeing, not marrying my bias, seeing that this recent low break looked like a liquidity sweep, especially with the bodies not closing below. I figured that there was a real possibility that price could start reversing. And that's exactly what it did. So it took me out of my short, which, I'm fine with that because I only lost 25 on that because I didn't risk too much on the trade to begin with. And even when I added in a micro, I scaled my stops perfectly that way. I still did not have much risk. So then we saw this crazy display, not crazy, we saw this significant displacement higher off of, a liquidity grab within this 5 minute gap. So I entered that confident that, now we would go for that lunch high. But I knew it was a little ambitious because it is the PM session, and by then it was late in the session regardless. So yeah, we got stopped out. $30 on that L. Boohoo. We're still up on the day. Whether this drops or it climbs, NQ got his get back. It's okay. It's because I used and abused it in the morning. It got his get back on me this PM. But c'est la vie. That's the business for today. I'm going to log all of this in my physical trading journal and then tab it all on my spreadsheet. See what I could have done a little better, a little deeper review, and refresh, reset, look to attack tomorrow with a newfound vigor. See what happens, what the business is.